Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the KISS Community League race number 5. We are out on the Volcano after party for one lap on today, and we've got 357 riders leaving the pens right now. We're getting our start onto this broadcast here just a little bit, right on time as they do leave the pens. I'm Nathan Guerra. We'll be commentating for you on the day. Our mad scientist Greg Leo's got to go pick up the kids today, it sounds like. So, just got me to deal with on the commentary, but we will be following along with all of you on social media as well as in the chats. We are live over on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Mixer, so make sure to go ahead and chat away. We'll be bringing in your questions, comments, as well as what you think is happening in the race and how things are playing out on the day. We're looking at the men's race right now. Number D Cunningham currently sitting in, it looks like 82nd place. Let's go ahead and move our way forward here and see what's happening at the front end. It does look like Mr. Tom Hargreaves is hanging in the mix here all day long. Interesting to see Tom Hargreaves coming from Zwift HQ here, 4.4 watts per kilogram. We've seen this rider qualifying for finals before in the KISS series last year, European edition of the KISS championships that we saw, championships last year. And cool to see that he's jumped back into the racing for the community here. We'll see if he can pull something off. You know, this course being a climbers course at the end of the day, we did see, obviously, in the Women's KISS Super League with the pro ladies taking on the Volcano after party this past week. It definitely stick together and was a sprint to the line, though, with Harriet Owen taking it at the last second. This is a rider who might have that kind of a kick if he can hang on to the top. I've climbed with Tom Hargreaves in real life, and the boy can definitely throw down a solid threshold effort to the top. 305 all day long. He'll know exactly what we're talking about there. Within the women's side of things, it looks like we have a shot here of the admin herself, Carissa Min. For TFC Racing, it looks like she has fallen off just a little bit from the front pack. We'll see if she can hang on, though, with Frankenheim as well as Kuntz and a few others that are leading her out for that TFC team, as well as KRT hanging in there, it looks like, with Kay Gray. And then Boyne Frankenheim there coming out of Germany trying to close things down. But up toward the front of the women's race here, let's go ahead and see who's leading things out and trying to perhaps get away. It's going to be C. Hansen here from Innovation. Innovation been dominating the women's series so far. I'm going to take a quick look here at the standings. We'll see if we can bring these in for you guys and gals next week. We'll have some updated results and standings for you for sure next week. But let's go ahead and see how things are playing out so far for the Women's League European Community League. Going to go ahead and see what these standings are. Innovation currently at the top with 19 results and 18,727 points, being followed kind of closely by Team Fearless right now. It looks like with 17,530. As far as the overalls right now in the A category, will be Vicky Whitelaw still holding on to that top spot. Vicky is in here, 2 seconds back currently amongst the main group, trying to chase down Hansen. Perhaps will not be looking though to chase down Hansen just as of yet, as she is riding for the same team. That is Innovation. So perhaps just a little bit of a tactical situation here with Hansen going off the front. Cecilia Hansen currently sitting in 3rd overall. Between Vicky Whitelaw and Cecilia Hansen, it is going to be Sylvie Bormans coming from Team Experimental, showing up on the leaderboard. 997 points for the Team Experimental rider. Interesting to see. We haven't seen Experimental showing up a whole lot in the this past Zwift season, and but it does look like holding down this solid 2nd place overall right now amongst the women for the KISS Europe Community League right now. So only 2 points behind Whitelaw, 2 points ahead of Cecilia Hansen. So Team Experimental at least holding down that spot out there. Back in with the men's race before the women do hit this section of the course that is that 3% uphill gradient. As they do hit it here, actually we'll stick with the women here for just a moment to see if any of these attacks do try and get away, as we usually do see them. We do see Hansen here now making her way to the front on the green Trombite. Then it's going to be Team Fearless with Malou now also making her way forward here. Will she be able to separate herself at all? You know, Team Fearless is sitting in second overall on the team standings and fourth overall amongst the A category, it looks like, with Carolyn Murray. So Brewer's also out there with Luisa and then Leah Brewer, it looks like, as well. So Team Fearless does have quite a few in the top 10 right now. So perhaps Team Fearless here trying to set something up. Early breakaway. Looks like things are just going to get shut down immediately as far as anything. It wasn't really much of an attack. Well, sorry to say, excuse me. Actually, I didn't notice off the front here now at this point. That did get a little bit of separation here. 2 seconds, 4.7 watts per kilogram, pretty steady. 172 beats per minute right now. And if she can hold on to a 4.7 here, it will be Oceansson coming out of Sweden, looking to be riding unattached, putting down a solid 4.1. Seelan comes right on through, a fellow countrywoman, Hildonen from Canyon there, now going to the front, 2.7 on the pack. This is the break right now. Solo rider off the front, Canyon ZCC with 150 beats per minute and 208 watts, trying perhaps to put just a little dig in on the front. We saw a lot of Canyon ZCC right there just a moment ago, coming toward the front end of the pack, perhaps working together to try and at least put a little bit of effort on the front. No, it looks like they're going to calm right on down. Not too concerned, it looks like, about this Team Fearless attack. Perhaps not, it is just a situation where the pack just kind of watches the effort waste away off of the front end of the group. It is one of the worst situations to be in, where you are putting out everything you possibly can, and you know the group is just kind of watching you, and the distance is not opening up. At 3 seconds now, we could see that continue to go up, but no, here comes 4 or 5 watts per kilogram. Buchholz, Hildon in there as well, and quite a few of the ZCC, and maybe even a Fearless rider. No, TFC rider now coming to the front, it looks like there. Ossiansson also out of Sweden. 3R. Coming to the front, too. They're going to shut this right on down. It looks like this isn't going anywhere as far as this attack goes. It was a valiant effort from Fearless, but not going to be happening. Back in with the men's race, they're hitting the S-turns here. And this is that section, of course, we always talk about as somewhat of a threat. We do see a couple of riders here just starting to fall off the back. We see Har as well as rider in the green kit there. It looks like maybe falling off. TFC hanging on the back now at this point too. We'll see if they can close things right on down, but 143 still toward the front end, or toward the back end of this group. 143 riders, that's quite a lot as we head through this little false flat. Tarak here coming from Team Poland that we're looking at. Very strong rider. See if he can hang on all the way through to the climb. If he does so, I'd be watching out for him perhaps for a solid result out there. Let's keep moving forward, though, see if we can find the front end of this group. Cameron Jeffers is out here. He's had some solid top 10s, I believe, amongst the community league. I'd be watching out for Cameron perhaps for a solid result on the climb. I wouldn't doubt him for a top 10 on the day. Let's go ahead and a little chat, though, also about the men's European Community League, or the Open, as we are calling it, as women are obviously allowed to race amongst the Open category here. 16 results for Canyon ZCC, but the battle is definitely on between Canyon ZCC and Innovation. If you're unfamiliar with Canyon ZCC, let's go ahead and see if we can find one of their kits out there. We did see them amongst the women, I believe, right here over my cursor. I'll see if I can actually get the rider on screen. I believe that was Stevie Young. And Lionel Viasen is here. He's going to help us out, it looks like. And there is that purple and bluish, pink and purplish kit with Noon on the side there. Fully supported riders here riding in Zwift for this elite semi-pro team. Bikes, trainers, and all kinds of awesomeness given to these riders to get them going there. Noon, obviously. I believe there's also, as far as the setup go, perhaps a full Wahoo setup, I believe. So fully supported riders here. Canyon ZCC currently at the top of the leaderboard, taking down Innovation just barely. But Innovation sitting in second, only 500 points behind with 16 results, all of them. Zwift Dutch Racing, though, is holding down the third place right now in the community series for the European side of things. Team Poland's been showing up in force, and they've been chatting a whole lot in the world of Zwift today. We saw them encouraging everybody on a little bit, and so I'd be watching out for them sitting in 4th place. It is Kirchmere E-Cycling there as well with 5th place overall. Team Cycling Hub, Cameron Jeffers obviously riding for them. We were just mentioning him. Watch out for them out there today. Pritchard's out there too. We'll see if he can hang on. Not sure he's going to make it up on the top of the climb though. Solid sprinter if it was just all flats out there, but not sure Pritchard's going to be able to hang on to the final. Pete DeHaan, though, from that Dutch racing team, sitting in 3rd overall. Vikings are out there, though, in 7th overall right now for the team standings. KISS Racing Team for 8th. And Team Cryogen, Bolt Race Team is out there, the BRT team. So that's your top 10. Fusion ECT, I saw a little chatter about them in the socials. So watch out for them. They're holding down a solid 11th. Power Dropouts, Zwift Warriors. Then the Vegan team, they've been actually showing up a lot recently, a newer team out on Zwift. They're sitting in 14th overall right now. Watch out for the Vegan team. They've been eating all their vegetables, and as Mama always says, dude, if you want to jump high and grow big, make sure to finish up that spinach and broccoli, and I think the Vegan team is definitely bringing that to the world of Zwift racing. They're going to be taking a right-hand turn in just a moment up the 2-tier. They'll be hitting this twice out there today, and this is going to be the first separation, I believe, of this gigantic pack of over 140-plus riders right now. Got a little bit of chatter in the socials. We are seeing them, and going to try and keep up with all of the chat that is coming through. I do see Nicholas Ballou. This is a great question actually coming on through, and I appreciate the questions. Keep them coming, and we will make sure to be answering them. How many kilometers for this race? We will have some updated graphics actually next week so that you will be able to see those continually, and we will make sure to be using those. But I'll have to keep on telling you how many are left just for today. But it is a 40.1 kilometer race, just like 2 days ago. I believe it was on the Volcano after party. I believe that's about how far it is. I'll have to double check on that, but they are going to do 2 laps of this Volcano flat, followed up by a right-hand turn onto the Volcano for the opposite direction through the Volcano and then on over to the section of the course that is the Volcano climb. So that is that's where things are going to be heading, and we will definitely. So am I incorrect about? No, we are correct about that. So that's what the total is. I believe it is going to be another 30 kilometers. To the line. So, and I see that we do have Greg Leo in here chatting up a little bit. 305, one of my absolute favorite numbers. Thanks a lot, Greg, for stopping in, and we'll be watching out for the chatter there coming from the mad scientist himself. So, Tepe Lobium. Saying maybe next week we can race this again. Interesting comment there. Is that because we've got doubled up on a couple of the races, perhaps, that we saw recently in the Super League? Is that perhaps what that's all about? But up toward the front now, it looks like I thought we were going to have a little bit of a drop-off from some of the riders and get some separation, but not too much at this point. If I'm going to take a quick look at ZwiftPower.com, that's a place where we are keeping up with all the live results right now. And as we do take a look there, it is telling us as far as the men's race is going right now, there is a little bit of separation that did take place because of that 2-tier, but not quite as many as I would have expected. So obviously a very strong group out here. Of riders here. On the back, it is going to be Alex West, Worthington there from the BRT team, Jay Tarak, a lot of the riders that we were expecting to be fairly strong in this race, sitting in and waiting for that final climb. I have a feeling this is going to be much of a waiting game. So go ahead and bring in the chat there, as I do not expect too many riders to really take too many risks off the front. The morning race, we did see a couple of streams this morning. I did see Chris back out there streaming, a few others, and it looked to be a waiting game there. There was a huge pack that came into the Volcano after party situation up and over the top of the Volcano climb. At least 15 to 20 riders battling out on the American version of the KISS Community League. So I have a feeling a lot of these riders not going to be taking too many risks. The only ones that I could see take any risks out here will be those who do not trust their climbing legs. I have a feeling we may see a couple of riders go for it early on to try and maybe make a couple of breaks happen and not have to deal with just the climb being the only place to make things happen. Maybe get enough time and enough separation between themselves and the pure climbers and end up with a W, but it would have to be an all-in effort pretty early on to gain that much time. Kristen Falconer closing the gap from an attack here from Cecilia Hansen from Innovation. So Canyon Innovation, the leaders in both of the series, now looking to make an early move. Buchholz here shutting things down at the front end of the pack as this break begins to form amongst the women's racing here. It looks like Kukabura here trying to, for a moment, was on the front, now right to the back, it looks like. Who's going to put in the effort, though? Is it going to be Whitelaw? No, Whitelaw's not going to close things down. Buchholz here not going to do it. It's going to be up to Team Fearless, actually, as they are, I believe, in the third position overall. So they're going to want to make sure that those points aren't walking away with Canyon and Innovation, as they already have the lead in second and first place in the series. So Milu up to the front here, 5.8, looking to get involved in this breakaway. It is a 2-second gap now, and this could be a serious move, actually, with three of the teams that are the strongest amongst the league so far. So obviously with these being in the top three, there's not going to be a whole lot of chasing from the teammates here. So it's going to be up to KRT as well as Race 3R. You know, they're the only ones involved still, it looks like. PTZ is in there as well from Inslee. Not sure the power is going to be there from Inslee, though, as a solo rider for PTZ. A couple of the unattached riders, perhaps, will have an interest in chasing this down. But this is a real threat here with 4 seconds, and they could just start to walk away with this. We've seen this a lot of times from Hansen as well as Falk before. Whitelaw here perhaps allowing Hansen to grab some extra points on the day, and then Whitelaw going to be able to sweep up those 4th, 5th, or 6th place points here. It's interesting, though, that Whitelaw would allow this to go, as she is the overall series leader, and it's only by 4 points over her teammate Cecilia Hansen, so this would be a little bit of a threat to her standings overall. Perhaps there's a lot of confidence, though, in their ability to just take down that 1-2, and they can battle it out in the last couple of races in the series here. But solid attack here. Christian Falk, Malou, Hansen off the front, 2 seconds of difference. Looks like Brewer, though, from Fearless, going to go ahead and slowly tempo it up. Not really too much of a working together between the three riders at this point. They would have had to put in much more of a dig to hold on to that kind of a gap. Heading into lap number 2 here for the men's side of things as we head into the underwater tunnel onto Ocean Boulevard. Let's go ahead and see how many riders have actually made it through at this point into Ocean Boulevard for lap number 2 on the men's side of things. So it is going to be, from what we can see here over on the ZwiftPower.com, nothing yet. Actually, I'm not getting ZwiftPower.com loading for me. We'll see if I can. Here we go. It looks like we've got, well, this is the women's side of things. We'll see if we can bring in the men's side of things. For some reason, perhaps I believe ZwiftPower.com is not loading live results just as of yet. We do have, looks like those who have shown up on the day. But I believe live is having a little bit of a struggle bus over there on the ZwiftPower.com. So if we do have Hodges or anybody else in the background, maybe it's just on my end. But if anybody from ZwiftPower.com is hanging out in the chat, go ahead and take a look real quick at the back end there, because it's definitely not loading on up the live for the men's or the women's side of things. So we'll have to wait and see if we can get some live results coming on through. Galambo's here, though, it looks like toward the front. 10 riders here. We'll go ahead and click through just momentarily. Maybe that'll help us out a little bit here in order to really get an idea of how many have made it. Well over, it looks like 100 still involved here. Surprising. So obviously the attacks through the Volcano have not been too serious at this point. You know, it does look like 116 riders with Seipold here now coming out of Germany. Dafford Williams, KRT, still hanging on. Cameron Jeffords here, sitting pretty at the back here, 4.7 watts per kilo, 5.1, 164, 163 beats per minute. Maybe a little hot in the cubby hole that he's in, hammering away out on Zwift. Tom Hargreaves now toward the back as well, looking to keep it calm. It looks like 164 from him as well. Adam Zimmerman, I believe he is streaming as well. Zimmerman, he's got a cool new setup, I believe, for his stream. I'll be watching out for him over on Facebook, as well as maybe restreaming to a couple other places. But I did hear he's streaming, as well as letting everybody know that he's hanging out at Elevation with his new overlay. I mean, racing at Elevation on Zwift, it's not hard enough, right? Liney Vyazin here, Canyon now. first orange numbers we've really seen out here that might be serious. It was up in the 12 watts per kilogram. I think that's just to make sure that it's a little bit of a kick into a fade climb, though, not expecting anything to go in there. Alex West now a teammate from Canyon ZCC as well, making his way forward into the pack. Will we get any kind of a break? That was anybody on the rivet? Lots of power-ups being thrown out. Obviously, with those change-ups to the pens, not being able to bring a power-up into the pens, people who do have them for this section of the course are looking for new ones when they do go through the Volcano. There is a banner there. There's also, obviously, the banner on the lap. And a good place to use it, that little 3% gradient. I would have been saving it personally for the 2-tier, being a section of course where it's just a little bit longer as far as the climbs go, obviously, with it only being about 15 seconds here. Superpower, maybe browser refresh. Thanks a lot, James Hodges. Appreciate it. Look at that kind of service we get here over on SwiftPower.com as James is in the broadcast chatting away and letting us know everything's working fine. I'll go ahead and do a quick refresh, or I'll just open up a new browser. That may be what's going on here for us on the day, perhaps. Now to the front, it looks like it's going to be E. Kelly. Just a little different there from B. Kelly, as well as maybe we'll get an R. Kelly out here as well. We need a little bit of music in the background here. All the Kellys out here, but E. Kelly coming out of, it looks like Ireland was off the front for just a second, but we got to click through just a little bit here. Apologies on that, everybody. But Glombos as well coming from Ireland, it looks like. Is there a new IRL team in real life? No, Ireland team? Because I am seeing quite a few Irish flags out there, and maybe some IRL for the team tag. Cool to see. We'll have to get an update on that coming from the chat as well. Hansen now on the Handsome. I guess he's looking good off the front here, coming out of the UK. 6.9 watts per kilogram to try and get away. This is a solid attack. 7's going to have to be held, though. He does get some separation, but looks like Van Letham isn't really interested in letting anything go. He holds the 4-5 watts per kilogram on the front, and that's probably going to be enough to keep the pack moving fast enough. Debski now from Team Poland. Now it's going to be Guterham, though, here. TPH looking to go across. This now becomes a threat if 2 get into this break and they keep on holding 7+ watts per kilogram, but they're going to need that kind of an effort. Rest up and sit in, rest up and sit in, and keep on coming to the front with that kind of power here. Handsome here still looking good, as his name says here. Veras tries to go as well, but it's not enough to really get any separation. The pack's just going to slow down on that wheel. Most likely going to get dragged back. Now, the 1% uphill gradient, though, is definitely going to make a difference here, though, and maybe put some hurt on some of the riders who've been sitting in just a little bit too long or a little bit too far back. If there is anybody really suffering and lets a wheel go, this could be a threat. But Gooderman here only able to hold 4.4, 5.5 now. They're going to need a lot more than that as Tarling throws down 6.1 watts per kilogram. But it's 197 beats per minute. How long can they go for like this? Now 7.1. Well, almost 200 beats per minute. This is a serious effort from this rider to close things down. Working for nobody, as it looks like, unattached, just for himself. And not maybe thinking too far ahead, but up into almost now 200 beats per minute. This rider has the beatings of a butterfly now, flapping the wings, almost 201. Can he keep it coming here? It looks like now Veras, though, sits right on, and Tarley moves back into the pack here, and it's all shut down. So not going anywhere. It was a valiant, really nice effort there, and but unable to really get the separation is needed there as Tarling threw down plenty. And now 8.1, this rider now, as he hits 200 beats per minute, says, why don't we just keep it going higher now? 201, do we going to see a 202? Who's got bets on that? And am I hearing 03? We're not going to hear it just as yet, as the auction is going to slow right on down. 4.9 watts per kilogram. And it looks like maybe Tarling may have some continuance over the top here, though. 101 RPM spinning to win. Connellan now 3.7 here sitting in. As let's head back over to the women's race, though, as I think that was going to be it for the attacks so far, with another another lap to go or so before they actually are going to head into the climb proper. And back in with the women's race, though, this is out on Ocean Boulevard after the 3% uphill gradient climb that we usually see a little bit of an attack over. It does look like we did see Daisy go and has a solid 13 seconds. Too bad we missed the attack there. We'll see if we can find it in the replays here real quick, as I do believe we will be able to find that out here. And if we do, we'll go ahead and bring that into view here, as it looks like it was a solid attack from Davies here. And we'll see if we can get that into the replays here. As it looks like that Ocean Boulevard was where it took place. And Davies, 13 seconds. Unfamiliar with this rider here. 4.9 watts per kilogram current, 5.2. 165 beats per minute or so. So 15 seconds now. Now, is this rider registered? Because the riders do not seem too threatened by this. They're just letting it go at this point and kind of just walk away. It does not look like the rider is actually registered over on zwiftpower.com from what I can see. We'll have to keep eyes out here for this rider on zwiftpower.com to make sure, because a lot of times the racers, they're not too interested in making a chase if the rider is not registered on zwiftpower.com. But she is, it looks like. She's put out a solid 4.4 watts per kilogram for the duration of the race so far. Heart rate's on, 169 beats per minute here. So 16 second. And Kristen Falk from Canyon now starting to do the work. Rigor sitting in, it looks like. Canyon now taking up the charge. Sailing here now, 3.6. It looks like Kristen Falk maybe just looking for a bridge, perhaps, and not looking to bring the rest of the group with her because it is obviously a 1 second gap now. There is nobody really on her wheel to take up that draft that she's going to be providing here. Daisy now, it's getting shut down just a little bit. Good place to close it down, but 3.3, 3.9. Looks like Kristen maybe saying, come on, come around, get on that wheel. And C. Reed here from the KRT, 4.4, 4.2. Brewer there, 3.9. So they are looking to work together, it looks like. She does not necessarily want to waste too much effort before they hit the climb. But it went out to 16 seconds. It was definitely a threat. Daisy here now, 5.2 watts per kilogram as they hit this little uphill gradient here. This may continue to be a situation walk away. Junior rider, actually. And how much experience out on Zwift Racing is another question here for Daisy B, as she continues to open up this gap into 4.8 watts per kilogram. Level 7 out on Zwift. It looks like first race ever, actually, for Daisy B, according to the ZwiftPower.com. Under 20, so it's definitely a junior racer here, and maybe some new talent here out on course. We'll see if she can hold on to this. On a real power source as well, 20 seconds over Malou. They do not want to let this go. Now, the other question, though, is are they letting it go as it's not a threat for the overall in the series, though? So that might also be a part of the situation here as to why they're just kind of letting this go and not too concerned about whether or not this rider is walking away. So that might be something to do with it, perhaps. As far as the attack goes, it does look like it did take place through the underwater tunnel here. But we're going to go ahead and leave that alone for now, as we do not have camera shots. But it did definitely take place on that little 3% gradient here. And she continues to walk away. This might be a section where it could close down, as it is 16 seconds. Here comes the orange numbers there from Whitelaw. And Whitelaw may be looking to make a bridge, actually, rather than take the rest of the pack with her. She went into about 14, I think it was, 12, 14 watts per kilogram. Orange numbers. Got a gap over Reed here at this point. KRT maybe looking to get back on terms. And now as this pack starts to scream down this S-turn into the flat toward the Volcano here, Hildona on the front there. Solid 52, 53 kilometers per hour momentarily. Daisy holding on to 45 now. There's 11 seconds, but they have to have some continuance on after the downhill as it flattens out. The speed from the downhill goes ahead and disappears. Whitelaw's got a distance now. Doesn't want to really get too much over her teammate Hansen as she's looking to work together. Vicky Whitelaw and Cecilia Hansen from Innovation to close this down and make sure that this tack isn't too much of a threat. Look at this. What's going on with Hildonen here with an arrow power up? Is she suffering at this point, or just wants to use that to support Rigor Mortal? Canyon ZCC with an interesting arrow power up. Not necessarily a place that I would have been using it, but it looks like the tactic perhaps just to make sure that Daisy, who seems to be a threat at this point, is not going anywhere. A couple of attacks now taking place on the men's side of things as this break's about to get shut down on the 3 seconds there that we see there. I believe the women are going to bring that right on back, but it is going to be Tarling again, 5.9 watts per kilogram. He's dropped almost 10 beats there. But it's Veras going off the front here, out of Brazil here, 158 beats per minute. Trzynski from Team Poland trying to go with it. Kirchmeier now. Looks like Cryogen as well, looking to get involved with this move As is Cryogen using the Zwift Black kit here, this new Black kit, it looks like. I thought that they had a different kit in game, but it looks like G. Hughes coming out of Ireland there. Pettinger now with Vision here, making his way to the front, looking to stay involved with Veres here. Trzynski here just following the wheels, making sure that nothing gets away. And it doesn't look like a whole lot of interest, though, in trying to get away with the chase. Just kind of shutting things down for Team Poland, as they seem to be doing a lot of work for Tarek on the day, perhaps, as he's been sitting in. And we are seeing a couple of other Team Poland riders here, a little ways behind. Debsky's there as well. Again, Messineo, the Poison Dart, everybody's going to be watching out for him with crazy numbers up and over the top of that climb, as they do head into it. Probably going to be the strongest climber on the day here as they head into the final lap out there, or at least the final lap into the climb here. We're seeing an aero power up here coming from a rider on the front. Interesting to see that. Was that a mistake from the rider there in the black kit? That was the Cryogen rider, I believe, throwing down that aero power up. Sorry about the jump arounds a little bit there, as we are using their side, but I mean, we have well over 100 riders here still. Not much of any gaps been opened up. Brandland here, Innovation, another rider to be watching out for the W, along the same power outputs that we've seen in Zwift as Messineo, the Poison Dart. So it's probably going to be these two toward the front end of the pack when it comes down to it. Followed up by the rest of the cream of the crop, most likely. We'll have to see. Maybe there'll be somebody who can challenge it. Gardner's out there. Is Gardner out there for the second time on the day? As I believe I saw him in the AM race as well. So Matthew Gardner doubling up on the day, I believe, unless I'm incorrect here. Dempster is out there as well. This is his warm-up race, most likely, for what is going to be an amazing race. I believe he's qualified for the British Cycling National Championships here. So Team Draft here showing up with 155 beats per minute. Dempster here, not sure he's got the power to hang on with the front end of the group in the virtual world here. But this is a rider who absolutely can show up in real life, as he won last year's finals for the KISS Europe version over in London. So watch out for Dempster, I believe, next week. If he is qualified, I'll have to double check on that here. But up toward the front now, it is going to be a lead out here still from Tarling. This guy's got 6.0 at 2:02 all day long. We're seeing somebody saying rip Gus, as it looks like Gus most likely fell off from the pace here. We'll have to wait and see what's happening with Gus now. Back in with the women's side of things, though, as they head into the Volcano, or leave the Volcano for the final time. We'll have to check and see if there was anybody that fell off pace. As they did catch Daisy, it looks like there was one that did fall off. Conant here, it looks like, from Wahoo CH. Solid ride from her so far, but unable to hang on through that final time up and over the top of that 2-tier as they head into their final lap as well. Wahoo CH still with one rider here that is due. We'll have to wait and see if she can hang on all the way to the finish and put them on the leaderboard for the podium on the day, as I'm not sure that CH has gotten too many podiums as of yet. We'll have to wait and see if the anchors will have to give me a little bit of correction on that in the chats. We haven't chatted with you guys a little bit too much so far. Let's make sure we're bringing in all the social media integration for the day. David Allenby in the chat saying go Daisy. So obviously a little bit of a familiar rider here for Allenby. Is Nikki Hug Racing today we're seeing coming from Tep, and yep, Tep, we did see him out there. Definitely, as far as I could see, believe, we're seeing not from ZH Live, so maybe not from ZP Live, but I believe I saw him out there today, maybe not. Winter Powell, good to see you, cheering on Team Fearless. Let us know who your favorite team is out there today. Jennifer Ritter saying Leah Brewer is qualified for British Cycling National Championships too, and I'm definitely excited to meet everybody at the British Cycling National Championships next week. Thanks a lot, Jennifer, for letting us know. We'll be watching Leah here throughout the rest of the race for Team Fearless. Definitely. Dan Fleeman missing from the race, and I've definitely got a Bible thump in there for you there as well. Too bad to see Fleeman and Cryogen missing from the race. But looking forward to see if they can maybe make things up here a little bit with a few of their other riders, as they've obviously been a growing team. Lots of Cryogen we've seen recently out on course. Looking for Team Vegan. I haven't seen too many of them making too much effort at the front. You know, it's kind of hard to spot everybody, though, on the day or really get any distinction between all of the teams. Being such a quiet race, obviously everybody's been waiting for that final climb, but the fireworks are going to start pretty soon. Let us know who you think is going to win on the day on the climb here. We're seeing a Go KRT here coming from Kiers 10. Thanks a lot for getting in there and cheering things on. If you haven't done so already, make sure you do hit that follow button in any of those places that you are watching right now, as well as we're on YouTube as well, obviously not on the Get Interactive. So if you are on YouTube, hello YouTube people. You can also send us your media for your setups over on Twitter. We love to bring that in. If you do have anything of a shot for your setups at home, podiums that you've gotten, or anything Zwift related at all, we love to bring all of that into the broadcast and give some shout outs, especially if you got a post race picture. Those are always great as well. Looking for Watts, good to see you hanging out in the broadcast over at Twitch. MDo in the women's from Wahoo CH is Cameron Jeffers' girlfriend, pro rider, I think. Thanks a lot for the shout out there, Matthew D. Pow, that's a super helpful comment, actually, and I would definitely be watching out for that at the end of the race, see what she can throw down, as I've seen her in a couple of Cameron's, actually, in a lot of Cameron's social media, actually, so that is actually a familiar face, that is for sure. We are seeing from Marco Hilchuk, I believe it is, coming over from YouTube, saying, one of the Team Vegan guys, PC crashed mid-ride. He texted me. He was up front. Too bad to hear that, Marco. And hopefully we can get a better setup. Now, it's interesting. That's definitely an interesting topic as we head into the final climb here in just a moment. The topic of setups has been coming up over and over again when it comes to those kinds of situations. And the reality of now at this point with virtual racing, you have a whole new tech setup that needs to happen, right? We have this expectation in the world of cycling that you show up for a race with your equipment ready to go, right? And if you have a mechanical in a race, it's on you, right? A lot of times it's like you had the technical issue and you need to deal with it. And we didn't necessarily have this expectation in cycling and bike racing that we would have to have nice PCs, a nice internet connection, a solid, all of this new tech that really, when it comes down to it, on the user's end of things, there is a reality of, like, you go to the bike shop, and if you don't know how to work on your bike, you trust your mechanic. But a lot of these, elite racers that are in the world of cycling that don't have a personal mechanic, they're not a part of a pro factory team, they learn how to work on their bike. They learn how to make sure the setup is awesome. There's a reality as well now, it seems like, that if you want to show up for a Zwift race and not have issues, you need to show up with a nice computer. You need to show up with, well, maybe not a nice computer. I mean, obviously you can Zwift with just about almost anything. But you start getting issues. You start learning where issues might come up. And next thing you know, it's like, well, maybe I do need to get this, or I need to get that, or I need to, find some sort of a way to make sure that these things are not happening. And it does take a little bit of investment to race at a high level, especially when things like standings in the community league, or maybe a shot at the KSL, Super League, which is professional level racing. And, these opportunities we're starting to see in the world of Zwift racing are starting to open up. Having the good setup seems to start mattering out there. Zwift has taken N+1 and applied it to your computer. That's one of the best comments here, looking for Watts, I've seen. And it most definitely has. I'm with you there. N+1, add the computer on there as well. I'm with you there. Lars Hubo says, there's a minimum of 10 riders that are able to win today. It is going to be a crazy final. Lars, I definitely have to agree with you there. Let us know who your favorite is for the day. You've probably got about 10 minutes before we're going to hit that final climb. We'll go ahead and give the shout outs to your favorites out there today. Speaking of favorites, again, if we look at the top 10 overall currently in the standings for the European Super League, Community League at this point, it is going to be Sandbike, he's out there, Brad Lund, as he is in game. We're looking at Dan Fleeman is currently second overall, but I do not believe he showed up on the day. Sean Vinton, I've not seen Vinton out there, I don't believe. We'll have to wait and see if he is going to pop up on screen as we do head up into the final climb out there. Obviously, Alex West from Canyon's out there. Now, the difference, Michael Apers, we're seeing Line of Yawson, Simon Merritt, Stephen Kirchmer, Ryan Misaki, Ed Laverick. So that's your top 10. Cameron Jeffers is out there, certainly for 12th place overall. The difference, though, between this like top 15 or 20 riders is 30 points. That's it. It is a extremely close series still. So this is a crucial climb out here today. There's so many points on the line. There's so many riders involved in this race still that are going to make it into this final climb right now on the men's side of things as well as the women's side of things that, it is it's really up in the air. So many people can win it on the day. Let us know who your favorite is, though. And, man, they're all going to be really wanting it today, and it's going to be an all-out battle here. Line of Yawson, obviously, from Canyon, and as well as Alex West. Both of them show us that they can seriously climb. Alex West has been involved in the KISS Super League finals, especially in the climb so many times. We saw him last week out on the London course in an all-out battle to the top of the climb out on London there up against Bibby and Alex West head-to-head. Alex Lurs was also involved there. So obviously West can climb. We'll have to see if he can match, though, the likes of the insane effort there from the Frog, Poison Dart, as well as Sam Bike. So going to be interesting. West is only sitting about, it looks like 6 points behind in the overalls at this point as they do take this first little climb. We may see an attack here. This section, I'm feeling that nobody's going to really want to put too much on the line here at this point. Beach here is going, though, from Wahoo CH up into some orange numbers. Arabella's there as well. Now we are seeing Tarling. Conlon here is now going. Looks like Team PL just leading things out a little bit. Kelly there now. Looking to go, coming out of Ireland. U17, not really too much of an effort to see, and they're just saving it at this point. We are seeing some power-ups being used, but that is because there is one more time through that arch, one more chance to get that also coveted arrow power-up in just a moment here. Before they hit this little bit of a climb, real quickly, we'll jump back in with the women's race just for a quick update. We will come back in with them for sure before their final here, but this is about to heat up a lot in the men's race. We are seeing Dewey we were talking about here from Wahoo CH could maybe be one of the wild cards, that we've been talking about, perhaps that are not in the overall leaderboard too far up at this point. But now we do see Frederick Haight up toward the front, leading things out. Current situation is going to be 13 or so, a little more than 13 riders here, still involved for the women's side of things. Looks like 20 riders, excuse me, as nobody's fallen off at this point since the last time we took a look here. Now a couple of power-ups, though, in the men's race, though, really starting to be thrown down. And arrow power-ups, actually, what is going on here? Why are people throwing down arrow power-ups before they even hit the climb? Interesting to see. Maybe some serious suffering here, as now the fireworks are going to start taking place. It's going to take this turn back into the volcano in just a moment, and then it's going to be one more time through the volcano, and then down the S-turns, and then a left-hand turn onto the climb proper here in just a moment here. So they'll go on past the right-hand turn. They're not going to be going right here, back on over to the Watopia flat/finish course, but instead it's a climb to the top of the volcano. Still, so many riders involved here. A couple did fall off, though. It must have been a serious kick there. That's why we saw the arrow power-ups. We're seeing Turok here. Oh, this is interesting to see. The TFC rider as well, Sigurd Johnson there. Johnson, excuse me, there, coming out of Iceland as well. Jacobonis there, Ryan. These are some serious riders falling off point here. Now the Vikings team now off the back, Ostrom as well. So must have been a real attack there through that final banner, and that's why we saw those arrow power-ups, I think, being thrown down. Less than 100 riders now, 85 coming into the final climb. As we're looking at Austin here coming out of Canada. Hargreaves still hanging on, 174. He's got a kick, but does he have the climbing legs to go up against the likes of these top 20 riders or so? Let's speak a little bit to the top 20 riders. We were talking about a lot of them. Sabrara's there as well. We're seeing Alan McLeod, Cameron Jeffers 12th, Max Bike there at 11th, Ed Laverick there, 10th place. Daniel Pettiner. We're seeing Neil Richards, Andreas Roas, Martin Vang, Sean Pontelier, James Phillips as well. I mean, so many riders. Gavin Hughes, Peter Trzynski, all within this top 20 to 25, all within 50 points of the lead of the series in the Community League, and they're almost all of them, still involved in this pack of almost 85 riders heading into the Volcano. This is going to be an all-out brawl here. This is Royal Rumble. Who knows old school WWF? That's what it feels like. Just throw everything you got at the ring and see who's the last man standing. That's what we got here in the Community League right now. Who's going to be able to toss everybody out of the ring? Who's got the power to do so? Heading to the front. Now, it is going to be Varys here. He's been leading things out all day long. 167 beats per minute. He's got 5.0 now on stop, it looks like. But it's going to be BRT here with Robertson now. As you can see, Beach now sitting on the wheel there from Wahoo CH. Tarling's there as well, looks like. Trying to set up well. Not going to be too far back. Very smart moves here from some of these riders who are making the way to the front because these meters matter. As soon as you start heading uphill, you want to use that draft as best as you possibly can before you hit that uphill grind, because that meter, those few meters that you try and close down, once it starts heading uphill, are so much more difficult than when you're sitting on the flat and able to close things down. Already an aero power up from the 3R rider here just a moment ago that was making the way to the front. We are seeing the dropouts team with Schwartz. Loving the new name coming from those guys. But let's see who's taking up the charge here. Right off the bat, we do see Hansen there from ECT. Cameron Jeffers now 6.5 watts per kilogram as well to make his way to the front. Looking for Canyon's ECC. Of course, at the front end, looking to really put the hurt on right from the get-go. Let's see if we can move forward enough to find it now. It is going to be Diner here coming from Canyon now, 182 beats per minute. Actually, did not realize that Diner was in the race here. Philip Diner, watch this rider. This rider can put out this, maybe not quite 8 watts per kilogram for the duration, but I'm thinking he can put out a solid 6+ for the duration of this climb here. Diner is a threat here, and he is trying to put everybody in the back foot. Vyazin as well as West, I think, are just going to be sitting in and allowing this rider to get the gap. If he does get the gap, they're going to say, go ahead and chase that down, because there is a reality on this climb that the flats and the downhills, there's a couple of sections where the draft does matter. And so they're going to say, no, Ash Beach, Innovation, Fusion DCT, you make the chase. My teammates off the front here, Canyon's ECC, are playing the cat and mouse game, and they're the first ones to really put it to the pack here. 7.8 watts per kilogram. Diner, how long can he do this for is the question. The German now 3 seconds over the top of Innovation, who's trying to put out 7 watts per kilogram but cannot follow here. Alex West here just closing things down and shutting it down now, it looks like here. Not too interested in making the chase. Brings it right back down to 4.5. No big speed at the front here. Here comes Dutch now racing at the front. Sobrara there from Draft now trying to close things down. The safety bike is out there as well. It looks like it's Dempster on the fastest climbing bike in game. For those that didn't know, with the recent updates and the new drop shop, the safety bike is the fastest climbing bike out there, but it's going to cost you $3 million plus to be able to grab that. And of the drops here, and it looks like there's been a huge investment actually coming from Dempster to grab that bike here. But 6 seconds, 7 seconds, this is a threat. And Diner, I know he can hold on to about 5.5 to 6 all the way to the top here. And this might be it for Philip and Canyon's ECC, still walking away with this one. Karsten here trying to close it down. Cryogen, knowing that this is a threat, 10 watts per kilogram on this flat section. Doesn't want to bring everybody with him, wants to just take the speed, though, into this section of the course. And Cryogen looking to grab the wheel of Canyon at the front, but the teammates of Canyon here just sitting in and following the wheels. Everybody else doing the same as well. Only 4 seconds now. Is it all for nothing for Philip here at this point, who is off the front? Back in with the women real quick here before we head into the final couple K here for the men. Cecilia Hansen with a little bit of attack as they head into the Volcano for the final time. Whitelaw here, 2.5 watts per kilogram sitting on. Able to get a little bit of a gap here between them and a few others here. P. Mason as well as Hildonen. Will they be able to hang on? Do here now toward the back here, but it looks like the elastic's starting to snap. Frederica Haight there as well. Inslee, Milou, Brewer. Not able to hang on, it looks like, as they're going to maybe get the gap that they need to break this before they even hit the climb. Serious effort here coming from some of the strongest riders, strongest women we've ever seen out in the community for Zwift racing. It's a 2-second gap, and if Hansen and Rigamorto go, this could be a serious threat. Rigamorto is going to sit on Hansen, I believe, slightly the strongest rider, Cecilia. Then Regamorto, though, out of the Netherlands, is going to play it smart, sit in, get a little bit of a draft, and perhaps be able to launch into the final climb. Back in with the men, though, we're hit out into the open air of the Volcano now. They've been caught here. Here comes the Poison Dart now. 10.5 watts per kilogram here coming from the Dart now. 190 beats per minute. Vyasen here trying to follow it up. Can he get back on the wheels here as this is the final K? And it's going to be Riker here trying to follow up, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to close it here. Lionel here, 12 watts per kilogram here. Will it be an upset here? Will Canyon's ECC be able to break the Dart, the Poison Dart? Will he be able to hold on? It doesn't look like it. 4.6, no. Lionel going right on through. Vyasen here, the Belgian, trying to make it happen for the Canyon's ECC, but the smart move there perhaps from Messineo as he looks to just grab onto the wheel, but they've got 3 seconds. It looks like it's going to be a head-to-head race between two of the strongest riders ever seen out on Zwift. The pure climbers are making themselves known at the front. Arabella trying to close it down. Brandlin maybe sitting in for a last moment attack here as they do have a little ways to go to the top here. In just a moment, we're going to take that last left bend, and it's going to go really sharp to the top here in just a moment now. And now Messineo closes it down. Lionel looking to just hang on to the wheel now. It's this back and forth here between the two riders. We do have a little bit of a down, a little bit of a flattening out for just a moment. It's very slight, and then it just kicks one last time. We already see the feather power up here coming from Lionel here, looking to find every ounce of energy as he possibly can before the line. I thought it was for the kick to the line, but no, I think he was just trying to hang on as Messineo was putting him on a serious back foot. Here comes the arrow power up. It might all be said and done because Messineo has 11 watts per kilogram, and it looks like it's going to be just the story that was already written before the race has started here. Brandlin's trying to come across, it looks like, and will do so. Brandlin with the last second kick. No, it might be Brandlin actually. 12 watts per kilogram, 13 watts per kilogram here coming from the riders here, but no, it's going to be Messineo there across the line, followed up by Brandlin, and then Vyasen looks like suffering across the line, unable to hold on, trying to hold on to the Poison Dart, unable to do so, and then because of those efforts there to hang on to Messineo, ends up falling backwards there, unable to make it happen there for the Canyon ZCC team. That Alex West, where did he end up? That's going to be the question. Dyna was still there too. Canyon ZCC with a lot of riders though in the top spots. We'll have to wait and see how that ended up playing out in the live results in just a moment here. But solid, attempt to take down the Poison Dart there from Vyasen, but unable to do so, it looks like. And we're going to take a quick look, though, over at the live results for the men's race here in just a moment, and I'll give you guys the actual. We're back in with the women here. They're about to hit the climb proper here, and it's going to be an all-out battle. Again, we've got all the heavy hitters here still involved. Didn't break things up too much, so definitely still its own Royal Rumble amongst the women. We thought Rigamoto as well as Cecilia Hansen might get away, but it's not going to be happening here. Canyon ZCC involved over here as well with 2 riders, it looks like. We've got 3R as well with 2 riders. We've got Innovation with 2, maybe 3 riders still involved. Fearless there with, it looks like, 2 riders. TFC with 1 involved. Inslee still there for PTZ. KRT with at least 1 rider involved. Wahoo CH, I believe, with 2 as well. MDO, we've been talking about that rider a little bit here. Will do be able to make something happen. We'll have to wait and see. Unattached rider here, Ocean. What is it? Oceanson. Now toward the front coming out of Sweden. Sealand's there as well out of Sweden, making her way to the front. And now it's Team Fearless starting to turn the screws a little bit. Brewer now to the front. We're being told she's going to be at the British Cycling National Championships finals, actually. So perhaps just the warm-up for what's happening next week, 1 week from today here. It'd be interesting to see if she can throw down, grab the W here as a nice warm-up for those British Cycling Champions. Now Vicky Whitelaw, though, coming out of the land down under, 174 beats per minute, winning so many races out here. Vicky Whitelaw, one of the strongest women, of course, that we've seen out on Zwift. On the first little slopes at the bottom of the Volcano climb, Christian Falk, though, Canyon now coming across, Hayden on. Daisy B, the rider that made the early attack, would call this probably the most aggressive rider on the day. We're getting that reward if we were rewarding it, as she did have a breakaway earlier on. 162 beats per minute. Rigamortal hanging on now as it's starting to elastic out, and the rope is going to snap here in just a moment. As you can see, riders just trying to hang on. Drafting power up here now coming from, it looks like, Rigamortal, Canyon ZCC just trying to hang on. Hansen closing the gap down, as you can see the riders ahead just starting to struggle to hang on to the current pace as Whitelaw just turns the screws at the front. 6.2 watts per kilogram. The Australian 170 beats per minute. Steady Eddie at the front here, it looks like, at 6.4. It's a little bit of a kick, but I believe she can hold on to a solid 5 to 5.5 to the top here. Well, let's see if she continues on, as it does go a little bit downhill momentarily, pick up a little bit of speed. Hansen, teammate, shutting things down 3-3, allowing Vicky to go. Not going to close the gap to her. Maybe just going to let the series leader walk away with this one and look for a second place overall, and at least make sure that Canyon ZCC does not grab those other points on the day. It's going to be really a battle here between Kristen Falk, I believe, Van Rigamoto, and Cecilia Hansen for that second place, perhaps, as we can see Vicky Whitelaw perhaps walking away with this one for innovation. For the men's side of things, though, for the Community League, let's go ahead and take a look at the results. It is going to be Leandro Messinillo cross line, followed up by Sam Bike. Then it was Ingo Reichert, Stefan Kirschmer, Austin falling back to 5th place, just barely unable to hang on, ends up a second and a half actually behind Stefan Kirchmer. It's going to be interesting how that ends up playing out in the overalls. Paul de Haan there, Zwift Dutch Racing. Adam Piersga riding for Team Poland. Philip Diner for Canyon after those early attacks falls back to 8th place. Then it was Gavin Dempster and Gavin Hughes for your top 10. We'll take a look at the replay in just a moment, but let's make sure we follow with the women's racing here, as it is Vicky Whitelaw still 5.5 watts per kilogram off the front. She can hold this for quite, I believe, the duration of the climb here, and I think it's said and done for first place on the day for the women's side of things. Dave Roach here now trying to come across, it looks like here, perhaps close things down. Not a rider I'm super familiar with. No heart rate, cannot win on the day actually, but Hildonen here now racing for second, it looks like, following Cecilia Hansen. Not going to want to let the other innovation rider go. Jumps right on. Mdu here, 4.6 watts per kilogram. Perhaps due with the power to make things happen, but thought perhaps that Whitelaw was not just going to get away with that kind of an attack. Hildonen maybe going to put the work in and be the sacrifice here for Canyon, as we are seeing 12 seconds come back a little bit here. Hansen now going to the wheel of Hildonen. Falk is there as well, so we do have 3 Canyon riders here still involved, and if they do work together well here in this final couple of K, they might be able to make something happen as Hildonen continues to sacrifice herself at the front end of this pack here, as you can see. And it is 11 seconds, and Whitelaw might not have the sprint at the final here, as now, though, Cecilia Hansen, no, it looks like Daisy starts to walk away a little bit. 6.8 watts per kilogram come from Daisy, so Falk here trying to chase that down. She might just let this go, though, as she may be wondering whether or not Daisy will be able to win outright with a verification or not, but Daisy B is going, and Hansen here now trying to close it down. Will Falk, it's just a race of attrition, though, as it looked like Falk and Hildonen were trying to work together, but nobody can hold the wheel any longer as we get into the 5% gradients now. Whitelaw now maybe under threat, 4.3 watts per kilogram, 3.6, and the 3% gradient here. Maybe seeing that Daisy might come across, might start playing some team tactics between herself and Hansen. As the gap is open up and Canyon ZCC are off the back here, here comes an aero power up on a little bit flatter section of the course from Kristen Falk. Solid place to be using that. It's going to speed her right on up and maybe get back on terms, but I believe that a few of the other riders ahead may have power-ups of their own, and perhaps could have been used better in a sprint if anybody's catch her from behind here. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. 9-second plenty there if Kristen Falk has this kind of power to the top here. Now Daisy, now another kick there, trying to close it down to Vicky. Vicky here, that early attack here, thought it was going to be plenty of time, but Daisy looks to have plenty of power to close this right on down. Hansen here now held on to Daisy's wheel. It's going to be a team tactic here. Go ahead and drag me right on up to my teammate, because I'm going to sprint right on by you in the final K. Here comes Vicky Whitelaw with another spot, 8 watts per kilogram real quickly there. 3 seconds still for Whitelaw. Looking at Hansen, though, here, trying to hold onto the wheel of Daisy here. Whitelaw, though, 6.1 watts per kilogram on the front. There's an aero power-up, just looking to hold on to the gap that she has. Regardless of the sprint that's behind, the idea is here, I need to have as many seconds as I can before we even get to that sprint, so I don't have to have a kick. But Daisy's got 7 watts per kilogram to close this right on down. I think there's going to be a lot of eyebrows raised with this rider here. This U23 rider here looks like Zwift Jr. now with an aero power up, 9 watts per kilogram, huge amounts of watts now, looking to come on through. Whitelaw unable to hang on, it looks like, after that huge amount of time on the front. It looks like Daisy B going to be winning outright here amongst these riders. Being newer to the community here, most likely going to, again, raise a few eyebrows. She'll be asking for some verification, but looks like she's going to walk away with this unless Hansen can come across. Hansen now looking to make it happen, though, and it looks like, no, it's going to be Daisy with a solid 9 watt per kilogram kick across the line. Hansen's going to be coming for second, and then it will be Whitelaw there coming across for third. Solid result there all around for the innovation team. We'll see if we can jump in with Kristen Falcon, the others that are just coming across the line, as we just lost them. Sorry about that, everybody. Thought maybe we'd get them, but this is one of the more difficult courses to stick with the race. Let's go ahead and see how things played out, though, amongst the riders in the men's race as they did come to the line. Poison Dart with this final attack that we saw earlier here. Here it is, and Poison Dart, 12.4 watts per kilogram, comes across over the top of Vyasen, as you can see, and solid result there for him. Vyasen, they're unable to hold on to that wheel. Brandon comes right on through there, 13.8 watts per kilogram. I thought Brandon for Innovation might be able to come across, unable to do so, even with that aero power up, though, as we did see the Poison Dart here hold on. Almost caught, though, with that 14 watt per kilogram kick, but it just was a little bit too little, too late. Reichert there, it looks like, followed up by Arabella. Kirchmer there as well, coming through for fifth. I think Vyasen there came through for sixth, as we said earlier. In the women's side of things, though, this was the situation as they came across the line. And we are actually not seeing it. And here we go. It was actually going to be Daisy there, as we saw a little bit earlier. Coming through with a solid kick to the line. We'll have to get some perhaps verification around that. Newer riders to the world is with some crazy numbers, but Hansen comes through for second, followed up by Whitelaw for third. Kristen Falk looks like was going to hold on for fifth for the women's sides of things. So that is the KISS Community League race number 5. If you're looking for the results, make sure to head on over to zwiftpower.com. Let's go ahead and see what the chatter is over on the let's go ahead and see what the chatter is over on social media here. Hope it's talent and not dodgy data. Tip, we're all with you there, all across the board with all of the racers. And everybody, you know, self-governance is always the best form of governance in lands of freedom. Right? Self-governance, always the best form of governance. But when you don't have that, the law has to come in. Hopefully not too much law has to come in on any of the riders that are out there. But that's why we got the real-life events, and I think there's going to be a lot of proving grounds coming up here in the next weeks. Adam Zimmerman coming on through saying, ouchie, top 15, happy? Good job out there, Adam. And racing from a mile up in the air. That's pretty amazing. Result out there as well. We're seeing a few more chatting through here. Would be sweet if Zwift let you quit a race after you've completely blocked by riding into the lava. That's actually, I'm loving that. But I mean, I don't know if you knew how this actually works, but you're not supposed to go in the lava. I'm not sure you have actually heard this before, but looking for Watts, it's a pretty clear command from the man himself here. So
no, not
supposed
India.
to go in there.
No, don't go. I showed you, don't go in the lava.
So just make sure that I'm pretty sure that they're never going to add that into Zwift because it is a command from the man himself. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. And if you haven't done so, again, make sure to hit that follow button on all of those places that you are watching. Share up the stream. And we will see you in London for the KISS Super League Women's. That's where I'm going to be doing the women's as well as the men's Super League, broadcasting from the London office in the UK with Zwift. And then obviously we have BT1, British Cycling National Championships will be on BT1 with that on UK television. So cheers, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and great job to all the racers, as always, out there. And as always, ride on, everybody.